Hello guys, and welcome to this little gem of a game called Starbirds. This game would have completely flown under my radar if my nephew didn't bring up this game, because Kurzgesagt is his favourite YouTuber, and this is a YouTuber game. But it's much more than just a YouTuber game. That might put some of you off just hearing, oh, it's a YouTuber game. But I've been playing this game quite a lot, and it's actually very fun. So I'd like to take you into the game, show you what I've done, explain what the game is about, and then answer the question, is it worth your time? This is a resource and base building management game, and there's a lot of things going on that at first you don't see, but when I try and 100% the first couple of levels, that's when I learned that this game has something a little bit deeper going on. So essentially the idea is you have a space station and you need to collect resources from asteroids and send them to the space station. It's that simple. Let's go into one of these asteroids. So this looks crazy, but I will dial it back. But I want to show you what the game looks like when you've spent many hours on it. This is one of the asteroids. It's fully collecting resources and sending them into the rockets to send to the space station. And essentially you get this score system right here. And this shows you how much of each resource you're collecting. So there are quests for each level, which is to build certain parts of the space station. And to do that, you just have to collect certain resources. Once you've got out the way, that it just becomes about how efficiently can you collect those resources off the planet. But it does go deeper than that, because there's a whole system that I will get into in just a minute. So say, for instance, this triangle material, it is aluminium. I've just been going by the shapes. It's easier when you're in the game. But if I want to collect aluminium, I would build an extractor, pop that down and pipe that to the space station. So what I will do, it can be a bit confusing to deselect sometimes. What I will do is, because I've finished this level, I will wipe everything. So let's just sell everything. So I have wiped this asteroid. This is what it looks like when you first arrive. So the essence of the game is you want to send those resources to the space station. So you want to build yourself a launch pad. And all these glowing sections, I could build a launch pad. Let's say I build one here. So now this will send rockets to the space station. So where I said the game gets a little bit more detailed is, say I want this material, which if I go to here, this is iron. So we want to collect some iron. So I'm going to get an extractor. And to actually get that to the ship, I drag from here and see there's this pipe. This is where things get interesting, because it can get very confusing, where the way you lay these pipes actually matters. You can't lay pipes over the top of each other. So your first mission may be, we want a little bit of iron. And with this amount, you might complete the mission. And you can go between these asteroids, do it in this sort of very relaxed way, and complete the story missions. But if you want to go for these extra stars here, so say iron, I've only got 1 star because we're not collecting enough of iron. If I want to up that to 3 stars, I'm going to have to actually mine this efficiently. So that would mean I want to build extractors all over this deposit, as many as I can fit in, and pipe them all into that ship. Now you can see here, 2 resources overlap each other. So that might be a decision I have to make later down the line. Do I want to mine this triangle material, or do I want to mine the iron? So now I've got all these extractors. Now they all need to be piped in. And this was something that took me a minute to figure out, because this is all real estate. Every part of this asteroid is real estate for you to build. And see, all of these pipes take up space. So if I want to pipe this one in, and if I wanted to go to the right here, I can't, because that pipe's in the way. So you have to be quite careful the way you build your pipes. Because say, for instance, I go all around. You can build the pipes as long as you like. If I snake it out like this, and say I want to mine this triangle resource, now I've got to navigate past this pipe, because this pipe is really long and taking up all the space. So if you're not efficient with the way that you're putting your pipes down, it can become a mess. But in the early game, like I said, you only need to collect a few resources to finish the story. So you can leave these wavy pipes everywhere, leave it very like a mess, and that can be fine. And then you only really notice this system when you want to get these 3 stars. And that's where I actually found the fun in the game. The game's quite simple beforehand. They just say, oh, we need iron, you collect iron. We need this resource, collect this resource, this aluminium. And you just pipe it in and you collect it. But then when you want to actually collect it efficiently, that's where I think the game becomes, that's where it excels. That's where I realised I actually enjoy this game. And actually, after doing that, I thought I'd consider paying for this game. Now, I'd like to actually buy it when it comes out. And there we go. Now we're piping all of these materials into the rocket and it's being sent off. And if we go to the iron, we have 2 stars. So then you would say, I need a bit more iron. There's a little bit more here. Pipe them in. And now that would continue to pipe, but to make it even more efficient, you could get another launch pad. And then when things get messy is you have this refiner. And what does that do? That transforms one material into another. So if I pipe iron into that, let's see what it does. When it pipes it in, it's going to make this material, which is ash. So each material can be broken down into another material, which you also need to collect. And that gets piped into the rocket. So if you want to get the 3 stars of ash, which I've already done on another asteroid on this level, so we're collecting that ash. But if I wanted to get it from this planet, I might have to ration the amount of iron that is being sent until I get the 3-star amount of iron, and then ration a certain amount of that iron to be converted into ash. And it quickly escalates into a total mess. So let's go back to the main menu, and I'll show you a level I haven't done yet. A level that was left in the state it was. This level here, I've only got 1 star. So if I wanted to get all 3 stars, see this one, 100%, that's if you complete all those missions and get 3 stars of every material being sent to your space station. So if I go to this one, this level was left in a way where I did only what was necessary to complete the quests, which I haven't even completed the main quest. That's oxygen and water. We need oxygen and water being sent to the space station. So what I would do is I would find the planet where there is water. There's some water here. Perhaps I can discover this asteroid. So there is a resource system. You get tech points and credits. So how do you get credits and what are they for? Well, let's go. The tech points are for researching new facilities or asteroids. So like you saw, I spent 5 tech points to unlock this asteroid, which is now an empty asteroid. I can go onto here. As you can see here, it says I need more research points. So I go, you get quests, and it shows you I could do this quest to get some tech points, and it wants methane, which I'm already being sent to space station. So if I accept this, it should start filling up because those resources are being sent to the space station. So if I want to get started on this planet, I need to complete some quests. And these quests pop up all the time. If you don't have one active, you can accept one. So I'm going to accept another one for a bit more money. And you want to be doing these quests throughout the game. Am I not getting any water? No water is actually currently being sent to the space station. So it can become very confusing very quickly. So what I can do is pipe this resource to be sent to the space station instead of this crater right here. And now I've completed the quest and I've got some tech points. So now I can go into this asteroid. Do you get that feeling that it is escalating quite quickly? And there we go. Now we can see what's going on here. So we've got some water. And I think that's uranium. Oh, it's methane, sorry. I get a bit confused. So we wanted water. So there's many resources here. A lot of them haven't even been discovered yet. So I think that I could spend hours on this level trying to figure it out. And the way that I've been doing it on level 1 and 2 is to go resource by resource. Complete that resource until you're ready to move on. So I'm going to keep accepting these missions as we go through. And this is where the game really opens up. If it wasn't a demo, you got lots of machines here, an ice extractor, loads of machines here, which you can imagine it getting completely out of hand. There's so many machines here, and it already felt like it was getting out of hand with just the amount that we had going on. So I need to get some quests done while I'm doing this. I can research a pipe hub, splits and merges pipes. I haven't even used that before. So it gets exponentially more complicated, which you kind of expect from these sort of games. So let's complete this mission, for example. We want oxygen. So how are we going to get oxygen? We're going to get some water. Where's my extractors? So there's some water here. And if I wanted to do this as efficiently as possible, I need a bit more money. So I would pipe as much of this water as I could. I can get 4 extractors on that area. And now I need more money. But what you do is you run each of these extractors into its own refinery. And then that turns it into oxygen. So I just need to earn a little bit more money so I can actually afford to buy those machines. Now, this is where if you're not just constantly pumping out these quests, it can really hold you back because you start running out of money. So if you are going to play this game and you do want to play it in an efficient way so you don't get held up by this system, it's just start doing those quests as soon as you can. If you have the resource it's asking for, accept the quest and earn some of this money. Otherwise, you're going to be sat here waiting. And there we go. Now I've got enough money to get just one of these. So I'm going to put a refinery down. And the real estate on this planet is very small. So what's probably going to happen is once I've set this up, I'm going to have to reorganize it later. But for now, we are now creating oxygen. So this water is being extracted, it's being sent to the refiner, and now it's being piped into the rocket. And shortly, you'll see we need 4 oxygen to complete the greenhouse. And that's a room on the space station. And once this rocket is filled up with enough, it will be sent off, and there you go. Off it goes. So accept another quest while we're waiting. And there you go, greenhouse complete. So as soon as this is one of the station quests, I suggest that you complete these first, because once you get these out of the way, you can purely focus on being as efficient as possible to complete these supply quests, which is all down here. And then you can go and try and figure out how to find these missing materials, these unknown materials. And like I said, the way I've been doing that is I'll just pipe, like saying I get this methane, I'll pump it into the refiner and see, does that convert into anything? No. If not, then there's a chemical lab, which is essentially the same thing, but you run 2 materials into it. So he's offering me another quest. Magnesium. Apparently that's being sent to the station. Let's knock the gym out. It's going to build me a gym. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to get more money. Perhaps I want some research points. I might need them. We're not sending any water up, so I'm going to quickly pipe some water. Get some water being sent into the rocket. Hopefully we're going to start finishing this here. So we've got the gym. And this is just continuous. It will just continuously offer you these quests until you complete all of your station upgrades. And we're going to be running into materials which are not being sent soon. And the water is about to top up. We can get that quest completed. And if you want these quests to complete faster, then you just send more materials up. So if I want to do that, I'm going to need another launch pad. I'm going to put one right there. Go to the extractor, plonk one down, pipe that in, pipe as many as possible, and now we've run out of money. So I need to accept more money quests. Give me those quests. Now we're sending more water up. And this asteroid is going to be completely extracted at some point once you get enough money. And this is really where I find the enjoyment of the game comes through, is once I get these main missions out of the way and you can focus on how efficiently can I extract from this level. So if we go back to the map, I can only imagine how as the levels go on, you're going to have so many asteroids. It's going to get really out of hand. And some of the materials actually require you to pipe materials from one asteroid to another. And that's usually for these missions to upgrade your space station. So let's just say quartz. So how do we figure out how to make quartz? So you've got a little wiki here and you click quartz. So you need silicon which I like to call the little watermelon, plus water equals quartz. So do we have any asteroids with those two materials? No, it looks like water needs to be sent to another asteroid so we can build that. So what I'm going to choose to do is, I need to be accepting more of these quests. I'm going to research this one. Discover that asteroid. Now in the meantime, I want to go back to this asteroid here. And we need to be able to send this to another asteroid. So to do that, you need to build a... In fact, you just need the launch pad at the minute here. What you need to actually do is build a receiver pad on this asteroid right here. Oh, this is a small one. This is a very small one. We're going to use it for an example anyway. Logistics. Landing pad. See, it says receives resources from another asteroid. So we pop that here, and we want the water being sent here. So we go back to our map and we say, for now, I want to route this water over here. So now water is being sent in this direction. So if we now plop ourselves back down, we will now have a water arriving here. And to get the quartz going, we need to mix the two things in a chemical lab. So I'm going to pop the chemical lab here, and I'm going to run this into the space station rocket. So this will be sent to the space station, and the water that we're receiving is going to get pumped into the chemical lab. And now I'm going to combine that with the silicon. Boom. Now this should start producing quartz. And we'll find out in just a second. There we go. Quartz is now being created, and we can now complete this part of the mission. And this is how I like to work through each of the space station levels. Just go one by one, get the resource that's required, and then once that's all finished, we can focus on extraction. Now you might see these little materials on the asteroids, and these are one-time collectibles that you can actually get by popping down this deploy rover, and you just grab your mouse, drive it over the materials, and you can pick those up. Nice little, you can give it a little, any sort of path you want, it will follow it. It's just a nice little fun game. I was playing it yesterday when I was very tired. I only had a couple of hours sleep, and this was the perfect game to play, and that solidified my experience of, I want to buy this game. I love games where you can just chill out and play them when you're tired. So now let's try and get some carbon. The next mission requires us to find some carbon. So where is carbon? Let's go back to the map. Where are we finding carbon? Or do we have to make carbon? Let's have a look. It turns out we have to make carbon. So that is methane plus oxygen. So that would require an asteroid with water. Now you can see where the things are getting a bit more complicated now. If we wanted to send oxygen from our water asteroid to another planet. Oh no, so where is the methane? The methane's all the way over here. Now this is an asteroid that I went on earlier, which looks a little crazy. It does. So we want to find some free methane. This is the landing pad, which is where the oxygen would be received. So we got to bear this in mind. Is this? Oh, it's a landing pad. Yes, so that is not the right one. Here's some methane. Wow, this is a total mess, this level. So for now, I'm just going to delete these extractors. I find the easiest way is if I'm getting overwhelmed is I just remove and rebuild. So let's get rid of this landing pad. Go to logistics, and I want a receives resources from another asteroid. Well, now I've put the landing pad back down, and we want the chemical lab. So this is a landing pad here. We don't want this. I want to be able to send that to the space station. So that's a launch pad now. And if we go to production, I want a chemical lab. I'm going to pipe that into the rocket that's going to the space station. And then once we get the oxygen, that's going to be sent here. And it's going to be mixed with the methane. Boom. So now, if I go back to the map, and we've got, this is our materials here. Oxygen should now be sent, I hope, and not water. I think it might be sending water, as well as... I think it's sending water as well as oxygen. And if I wanted to resolve that, I'd have to go and check which launch pad is being used and actually change those. And here's another problem. I've completely lost where we were. Where even was this? Oh no. It's so easy to get lost and confused here. Ah, here. Carbon is being made as well as goop. I guess that's good news. So I'm going to continue to accept some of these little missions. Well, we're completing our mission anyway. The carbon is now being secured. And the next room is probably going to require a different resource. So what I would probably do is completely scrap what is going on here and do it from the ground up. Because I'm just getting confused. And I think just wiping everything and starting again is the best way. And it refunds your materials when you do that. So it's safe to do that whenever you want. And there's more asteroids for more resources. And it's kind of a puzzle game in that sense. The puzzle is, how much of this water resource do you really need? So you only send the amount you need. And then once you've got that, you convert the rest of it into the other materials, such as oxygen. So you can get your oxygen and only get the amount that you need. And how do you dictate the amount you need? Well, I go by the 3-star system. Once it hits that 3-star, I don't need to send any more water to the space station. So the rest gets converted to other materials. So there we go. We finished that module of the space station that required the carbon, and it would move on to the next quest. So now it's asking for hydrocarbon, which I haven't even got to yet, magnesium and methane. And this one could be glass. It's just escalating further and further. So that's where the fun in this game is, the continual escalation. How am I going to organise all these things? Because I find every time you find yourself needing that next resource, that next material, it causes you to go back and rethink how you're making those resources, where they're being sent. It's a logistics game. And if that sounds fun to you, then this might be the sort of game that you want to be playing. It seems fun to me, I must say. I've been really enjoying my time with this game. And I probably will get it when it comes out. But let's talk about pricing. How much would you pay for this game? Because there's no signifier of how much this game will cost. For me, it feels like that sort of £20 maximum sort of range for me. If the game came out at £40 or $40, whatever currency you're using, for me it's pounds. I probably would end up skipping it, if I'm honest. If it came out at £40, I'd probably say, I'll skip. I'll wait for a deal. This does feel like a £20 sort of game. Or £15, I'm not sure. That sort of price range seems very fair to me. But that's just my thoughts on it. It's kind of, you know, we all have our different price points. For me, you know, £20 maximum, that would suit me fine. So, that was Starbirds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.